Let me ask you something. What if your business is not dead, but it is sick? What if no leads, no clients, no sales, no engagement, no replies, no booked calls, no people asking for more information are not random problems? What if they are symptoms? Because when a business has no leads, no clients, and no sales, most solo entrepreneurs immediately think the problem is the algorithm. They think the market is saturated. They think people are not buying. They think their audience is broke. They think they need a better funnel, a better landing page, a better logo, a better camera, a better offer, a better product, a better platform. But what if those are not the real disease? What if those are only surface-level symptoms of something much deeper? Because in business, no leads is a symptom. No clients is a symptom. No sales is a symptom. And the serious illness underneath all of it is this. Your message is not making the right person stop, feel understood, trust you, and believe that your solution is for them. That is why today I want to show you why your business may not have a traffic problem. It may not have an offer problem. It may not even have a content problem. It may have a messaging illness. And once you fix the message, everything else has a chance to breathe again. If you are a solo entrepreneur, you already know how heavy this feels. You are doing a lot. You are thinking about your business all day. You are creating content, trying to post consistently, trying to come up with hooks, trying to explain your offer, trying to sound professional, trying to build trust, trying to make people understand what you do, trying to get leads, trying to get clients, trying to make sales, and still, the response feels silent. You post, nothing. You explain your offer, nobody bites. You promote your service, nobody asks for the link. You create a video, people scroll past it. You write a caption, nobody comments. You put out value, but it feels like the market does not care. And that starts messing with your mind. You start asking yourself, is my offer even good? Am I in the wrong niche? Do people even want this? Am I not credible enough? Do I need more followers? Do I need to lower my price? Do I need to create something else? Maybe I am just not good at this. And that is where many solo entrepreneurs get trapped. They start changing everything except the thing that actually needs to be fixed. They change the colors. They change the logo. They change the bio. They change the platform. They change the product name. They change the offer. They change the price. They change the niche, but they never fix the message. So the business continues to suffer because the audience still does not feel grabbed. They still do not feel seen. They still do not feel understood. They still do not feel urgency. They still do not feel belief. They still do not feel like the offer is the obvious next step. And when the message does not move the market does not move toward you. Here is the serious part. No leads, no clients, and no sales are not just business problems. They are warning signs. They are like symptoms in the body. When someone has chest pain, shortness of breath, dizziness, and weakness, you do not just say, maybe they need a new shirt. You look deeper. You ask, what is happening underneath? What system is breaking down? What is not functioning properly? It is the same with business. When your content gets ignored, when your offer gets skipped, when your audience does not respond, when your call to action gets no action, when people consume your content but never become leads. That is not just bad luck. That is the business telling you. Something in the communication system is not working. And for many solo entrepreneurs, the real illness is weak messaging. Weak messaging talks about what you sell. Strong messaging speaks to what the viewer wants. Weak messaging explains features. Strong messaging exposes the real problem. Weak messaging says, here is my offer. Strong messaging says, here is why you are stuck. Here is what is costing you, and here is the path forward. Weak messaging tries to impress. Strong messaging makes the viewer feel understood. Weak messaging talks at people. Strong messaging talks directly to the person who needs the solution. Weak messaging creates information. Strong messaging creates recognition. Weak messaging says, I help people grow their business. Strong messaging says, if you are posting every day but still getting no leads, your problem may not be consistency. Your message may not be giving people a strong enough reason to stop, trust, and take action. That is the difference. And this is where most solo entrepreneurs get it wrong. They think attention comes from being louder, but attention comes from being more relevant. They think trust comes from giving more tips, but trust comes from making people feel deeply understood. They think sales come from pushing harder, but sales come from making the value of the transformation impossible to ignore. The illness is not always the product. The illness is not always the platform. The illness is not always the price. The illness is usually that the message is too weak, too generic, too product-centered, too vague, too safe, and too easy to ignore. And a message that is easy to ignore will create a business that is easy to overlook. Here is the truth. Your business does not need more random content. It needs screen-gluing, attention-grabbing, viewer-directed messaging. Messaging that makes the viewer feel like, this is about me. This person understands my problem. They are saying what I have been feeling. They know why I am stuck. They have a way to help me. That is where HSF2 comes in. HSF2 stands for Hero Story Formula 2.0. It is a messaging and script writing framework that makes the viewer the hero of the message, not the business, not the brand, not the product, not the entrepreneur, the viewer. Because the moment your content becomes about the viewer's pain, desire, struggle, belief, problem, cost, and transformation, your message becomes harder to ignore. HSF. 2 works because it follows the emotional path people need before they take action. First, it hooks them through curiosity. Then it mirrors their struggle. Then it exposes the friction keeping them stuck. Then it reveals the open truth. Then it gives them a roadmap. Then it shows the cost of doing nothing. Then it paints the ultimate win. Then it leads them to action. That is powerful messaging, because it does not just say, buy my thing. It says, I see you. I understand what you are dealing with. Here is why it has been happening. Here is what needs to change. Here is the path forward. And here is the next step. That is how you turn content into connection, connection into trust, trust into leads, leads into clients, and clients into sales. So how do you start healing this business illness? How do you move from no leads, no clients, and no sales to messaging that actually pulls the right people in? Here is the roadmap. Step 1. Stop making the business. The hero most solo entrepreneurs talk too much about themselves. They say, my program, my method, my service, my coaching, my experience, my offer. But the viewer is not scrolling social media looking for your business. They are looking for themselves. They are looking for their problem, their pain, their desire, their next step, their solution. So the first shift is this. Stop making your business the hero. Make the viewer the hero. Your message should sound like it entered the conversation already happening in their head. Instead of saying, I help solo entrepreneurs get more clients, say, if you are posting every day but still getting no leads, your problem may not be your effort. Your message may not be making the right person feel understood fast enough. That is viewer-directed messaging. Step 2. Name the symptom. They already recognize. The viewer may not know they have a messaging problem yet, but they do know they have no leads. They do know they have no clients. They do know they have no sales. They do know people are not responding. They do know their content is being ignored. So start where they already are. Name the symptom. Say, no leads, no clients, no sales, no comments, no replies, no booked calls, no buyers. Then connect that symptom to the deeper illness. That is how you create awareness. Step 3, expose the real illness. Once you name the symptom, Reveal the deeper issue. The illness may be weak messaging, generic content, product-centered communication, no emotional relevance, no clear transformation, no urgency, no belief shift, no viewer-directed story, no reason for the audience to care right now. This is where your content becomes powerful, because now you are not just giving tips, you are diagnosing, and diagnosis creates authority. Step 4. Use the weak/strong contrast. This is where the message gets sharper. You show the difference between what is not working and what works better. Weak messaging says, "Here is what I sell." Strong messaging says, "Here is the painful problem you are facing and the real reason it keeps happening." Weak messaging gives information. Strong messaging creates recognition. Weak messaging describes the product. Strong messaging sells the transformation. Weak messaging tries to sound professional. Strong messaging makes the viewer feel personally spoken to. Weak messaging gets skipped. Strong messaging gets watched. Step 5. Reveal the open truth. This is the turning point. You reveal the new belief. For this message, the open truth is, no leads, no clients, and no sales are usually signs that your message is not making the right person stop, care, trust, and act. That one truth changes how the solo entrepreneur sees the problem. Now they stop blaming only the algorithm. They stop assuming nobody wants their offer. They stop thinking they need to burn everything down. They realize, I do not necessarily need a completely new business. I may need a more powerful message. Step 6. Give them the HSF2. Path. Show them the structure. Hero hook, struggle, friction, open truth. Roadmap, missing cost, ultimate win. Lead to action, action prompt. That becomes the messaging medicine, because now their content has order, it has emotional flow, it has purpose, it has persuasion, it has a reason for the viewer to keep watching. Step 7. Move them to action. Once the viewer sees the illness and understands the solution, give them the next step. Do not leave them inspired but confused. Tell them exactly what to do. Comment a word. Download the guide. Watch the training. Book the call. Join the program. Send the message. Take the next step. Because a strong message should not only educate, it should move. But here is the cost of not fixing this. If you keep using weak messaging, your business can keep looking active while staying unhealthy. You can keep posting, but not attracting. Keep creating, but not converting. Keep showing up, but not getting leads. Keep explaining, but not getting clients. Keep promoting, but not getting sales. And the dangerous part is this. You may start blaming yourself. You may start thinking you are not good enough. You may start thinking your offer is not valuable. You may start thinking your market does not want what you have. You may start thinking online business does not work. But what if the real problem is not you? What if the real problem is that your message is not strong enough yet? That is why this matters. Because weak messaging does not just cost sales. It costs confidence. It costs momentum. It costs belief. It costs consistency. It costs time. It costs money. It costs the future of the business you are trying to build. And if the message stays weak, the symptoms usually continue. No leads, no clients, no sales, no momentum, no growth, no cash flow, no freedom. That is too expensive to ignore. But when you fix the message, things can start changing. Your content starts feeling sharper. Your hooks become stronger. Your audience feels more seen. Your posts become more relevant. Your videos become harder to scroll past. Your offer becomes easier to understand. Your CTA becomes more natural. Your content starts creating more conversations. Your message starts building more trust. Your business starts sounding less like noise and more like a clear answer to a real problem. That is the power of HSF2. It helps you turn a basic message into a viewer-directed story. A story where the viewer sees themselves, feels the pain, understands the problem, discovers the truth, sees the path, feels the cost of waiting, imagines the win, and knows exactly what to do next. That is what screen gluing messaging does. It does not beg for attention. It earns attention by becoming relevant. It does not chase the viewer. It speaks so directly to them that they feel pulled in. It does not try to sound clever. It tries to be clear, emotional, truthful, and useful. And when your message does that, your business has a better chance of creating leads, clients, sales, and momentum. So if you are a solo entrepreneur and you are tired of creating content that gets ignored, tired of having no leads, no clients, no sales, no real response from the market, do not immediately assume your business is broken. Do not immediately assume your offer is worthless. Do not immediately assume you need to start all over. You may need to fix the message. You may need to stop speaking like a business trying to sell and start speaking like a guide who understands the hero. Because the right message can make people stop. The right message can make people care. The right message can make people trust. The right message can make people act. And that is exactly what HSF2 is designed to help you create. So here is your next step. If you want to learn how to create powerful, attention-grabbing, screen-gluing, viewer-directed messaging using HSF2, comment HSF2 below. And I will show you how to turn your message into content that makes the right person stop, feel understood, trust your solution, and take action. Because no leads, no clients, and no sales are not just problems. They are symptoms. And if you want a healthier business, you need stronger messaging. Comment HSF2 below, and let's start fixing your messaging.